Heyo, everyone.
So for this costume, I definitely put dirt all over my face. Uh, and the thing is, I live in an apartment, so the dirt had to come from just soil from my plants. And then after, like around the time I'm putting it on my face, and I also completely covered this shirt in dirt as well, which you can't see at all. So this was all for nothing. But after I did all of these things, I'm then just like, wait, so like, is fertilizer bad for your skin and body? Uh,
Actually, depending on the fertilizer, it might be good for
it
you.
could be, well, because that's the thing. My skin just completely absorbed it into my bloodstream.
Oh,
So I think it's maybe just good to have that happen to you.
hopefully.
So I did
If you
that.
look at it this way, it's probably as good for your skin as the Wet and Wild eyeshadow on my face is. So,
Why is it called that?
that's just the brand.
Why would they do that? Uh,
Wet and
so,
Wild.
so yeah, I just took old work clothes and work apron and just attacked it with a knife and scissors and threw on a name tag.
Yeah, I messaged Matt at random. I was like, "You want to be retail zombies tomorrow?" I
Well,
was
well, and I'm so glad you did because when I got that message, my initial response was, "Oh shit, yeah, I need to come up with a costume." And I've worked retail for many a years, so I already had the gear to do retail. I just needed to work on a zombie.
I was like, I certainly have a long sleeve black shirt or something that looks like it would have been mandatory retail. And then I went through my closet and I'm like, oh wait, I in fact just got rid of a lot, like half of the shirts in my closet. I don't know whose shirt this is. It's too small to be my husband's. It barely fits me. I think at one point it was. See, my sister's a larger size than me, so it can't have been hers because it barely fits me. So I have no idea where this
One of
went.
your children, maybe, or too
No,
big for that.
I think two. I think like it is definitely not. So we've never bought the kids white button ups before.
Ah, gotcha, gotcha.
So sorry, my brain was stuck on is it too big for them? And then I'm like, no, they
Yeah,
fit women small. And then I was like, wait a second, no, we've just never bought them white button ups.
yeah.
So yeah, this look to answer Fox's questions, and in case anybody else is curious, it does appear I will be streaming from here for a while as my laptop seems to have been possessed by a demon
Happy
because I
Halloween.
turned it. Well, okay, so last week it stopped turning on. Well, I think it got really overheated. And
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, because the garage den gets kind of hot and I hadn't been in there in a while. And I guess it didn't turn off all the way the last time I turned it off. So then I like forced it to turn. I forced shut it off. I closed it and I put it upside down so the hot part, would be up so it could cool. And then I just didn't touch it for a week. And then I went in there and it was still running. I was like, how are you? And so I unplugged it. And yeah, I'm like, well, a demon has possessed this laptop. I
Yeah.
haven't touched it in 3 days now. And like my husband was like, have you tried to turn it back on? I'm like, no, not yet. I don't want to touch it today. I don't want to stress. Like, I'll just stream from your computer again. And he's like, that's fine. So we'll see. It sucks because like we just got the garage den set back up so that it is now my little office area is all nice, and since the kids don't go in there anymore, it is now just my office area, not even my
Yeah.
office area slash their homework. So I was like so excited to start working in there again. And then
But
like
alas.
said you thought.
Yeah, my laptop is also on the brink, so like I feel the pain. I have no idea what I'm gonna do when this thing putters out. But I've
Well,
had it for like 9 years now, and that's a while. And now it kind of just
yeah,
like,
mine's like 4 or 5 years old, but like, um, part of why I got the desk table over there is because there was literally nowhere I could put my laptop where an animal or a child didn't knock it off the bed or like step on it. And so I told Chris, I was like, I need somewhere I can safely put my laptop so it stops being abused by not me.
so the reason I was late is this bit that I'm doing, and I need everyone. It doesn't matter if you actually think this is funny or not. I need everyone to tell me that this is funny because it's why I was late. Uh, so I do, this get up and whatever, and I'm like, ooh, what would be really funny is if I had like a fancy drink to go with this. So I made a Negroni with a rosemary sprig and like you can't see it, but there's an orange peel in there, a little orange twist. And I'm like, that's really funny. I'm doing that. And that's what made me late because I also just am in the process of making new ice. And every time I opened my freezer, I forgot that I was in the process of making new ice and I would slosh water all over the floor. And it happened like 4 times. And yeah, that's why I'm late. And my neighbors are probably like, what's this guy's problem? Because they've seen me over the last half hour take a shirt and cover it in dirt and stomp on it. And then I've heard me closing a freezer several times and then going, God damn it! So they're probably I'm gonna get raided here in the next 30 minutes is what I'm saying.
We're gonna say hello to chat now. Oh, also the intro and outro, it finally let me select videos now, which is great. So
Fun.
It's automated. Hi Kelly. Hey Tina. Hey RP. Hey yo Nicole. Hey Jessica. Thank you. I actually have an eyeshadow called The Anguished Souls of Retail Employees.
Oh my gosh, I do too. Why didn't I wear it?
Well, it's a silver that didn't go with the thing. So. RP left his charger at his parents' place 2 weeks ago, and it was no. Maybe the demon that possessed my laptop also stole your charger. Heyo, Eva. I was supposed to get another one last weekend, but then it never showed up. So this was the first time I've been able to actually use my computer since. Awesome. I will say that, like, luckily, because I do everything via Dropbox, Milanote, or my emails, that I am, like, not concerned about having lost anything, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I'm just so sad. Because I just want to work in my office area. I must also make a slight amends. The first, I think last week, the first time I streamed from Chris's desk, I showed everyone kind of how he has his desk set up. He felt that I showed that his desk, he was very confused because he's like, when I showed the desk area, he's like, it was a mess. And I'm like, no. It was a mess because I made the mess, but I cleaned my mess up. So I feel I should let everybody know that my husband actually keeps his work area very neat, very clean. It's just when I have to borrow it because it's not set up for my stuff is just everywhere. And then I clean it up when I leave my area. Also, I'm just a very chaotically organized worker, so it just looks
so
horrible.
As a fellow chaotic organized, my desk at work has many a time they're used to it now, but like when I was first getting started, it prompted many a supervisor to be like, hey, are you okay? Like, is everything good? Because
right?
so if I don't have a visual like cue to remind me I'm gonna forget stuff, right? And
Exactly.
and
Oh,
I constantly have a to-do list 18 and a half miles long. And so as a result, my desk, computer, whole office is
sticky
just
note.
covered in sticky notes. Yeah. And so they'll walk in and they're just like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just need to see my entire to-do list at all times or else stuff will get lost." So I need to scatter my to-do list like I'm living in Memento and piece it together over the course of my workday.
That's why Note works for me, because like that's just the browser version of doing that, but also
Mhm.
like it only works for like work stuff when I'm at the computer. If I'm not at the computer, then it's not gonna help.
Yeah. Yeah, see,
Also,
exactly. That's why, because like that's also my problem is I'll like do like organizational stuff on my phone or on my laptop or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's great when I'm looking right there. I need like a
yeah,
rotary or something constantly spinning above my head of my to-do list if I'm
I
to actually
started
get anything done.
I have this thing that or I have a pack of sticky notes,
Mhm.
and I write my to-do list on them, and then I'll have the like thing of sticky notes going down my my little notebook
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
all of my tasks and stuff, because like just when I'm not feeling good
Mhm.
and when my migraines are bad, I do not want to go looking through apps or anything.
Right.
So it's like I now have so many different things, so many different places for organizing this, all circumstantial.
Plus, the cool thing about sticky notes is it's really good for like when you're done with your to-do list, you throw the sticky notes away, and that's very satisfying.
Yes, it is. So just crush them.
Yeah.
Jessica said, so fancy food service worker.
Yeah, I think it's and like I was going for retail zombie, and I think I wound up like server after a bottomless mimosa brunch. Sam, are you frozen, or am I frozen? Sam, are you there? Hello. Which of us is frozen?
Hello. Oh, well, yeah. Read you like okay. So I was finished. My daughter made herself a tuna. Rest of it. Normally, I don't have food at Chris's desk because I don't know. Hello. Am I
I,
back?
I can hear you, but you are. Can you? Okay, you're not frozen.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I normally don't eat at Chris's desk because I just don't know where to put things when I'm done with it. At my little desk area, I have like this specific.
Oh, you've frozen once more.
Hold on, real quick.
Yep, this is my stream now. Uh, but I can't pull up comments. So I am adrift with nothing to do. Chad, how do we feel about Negronis? Anyone ever had one? I think they're delicious. What's fun about this is also I don't even know if I'm live. Can you hear me? I feel like Castaway right now, where you guys are all my volleyball.
Or maybe not.
Sam,
I think I'm back.
I can hear you, but seeing you.
That's okay. Well, the whole point I was over, I started sniffing around.
You're still breaking up uh, a lot, as well as frozen. I'm afraid. And we are once again adrift, it would seem. Uh, oh, Ava's comment. That's funny. Uh, while we wait for the return of Sam, I was asking if you have tried a Negroni, which is a fantastic little cocktail of gin, Campari, and vermouth with an orange peel garnish. And I threw in a little rosemary as well, and a little bit of Cointreau to bring out the sweetness a little more. Highly recommend a Negroni if you like really bitter drinks. Because the Campari's from like rhubarb and other herbs, and the gin's obviously very botanically, and so you end up with a very floral, herbaceous drink. But the orange from the orange peel, and then the little bit of Cointreau I added in, creates a little bit of sweet acid to help cut through all of that herb stuff going on. Sam? Oh,
Perhaps. Oh, hold on. Let me mute you.
okay. Ah!
So I put you down. Hold on. Leave. Okay. I'm gonna restart the computer real quick because I don't know what Riju did, but she cursed it because I wouldn't give her tuna.
Am I gonna echo or no? It seems like I'm good. I think I'm good. Sam is frozen, but I think I'm good. So answering some, I can't pull up comments, but I can read them. So let's see here. Chocolate covered pretzel shot. I've not. I don't know what's in that, but that sounds delicious. A Tide Pod shot. I can't tell if that's actually a shot or you're just saying like maybe I've had a Tide Pod, to which I say no comment. Coconut rum and pineapple juice is an incredible, iconic drink, and I absolutely love it. Cheap champagne, also always fantastic. Tequila sunrises are very good, a little sweet for my taste, but a very good drink nonetheless. Floral herbaceous drink, kind of like what Eva said. Yeah, just like very like I don't know, like there's rosemary in here, and you can very much taste the rosemary. And I don't know if you've had uh gin, but like you know how gin can kind of have like it's juniper berries. It's just this very herby flavor. And then Campari. I don't know exactly what's in Campari. I just know that it's a little like it's an aperitif, which is like an after dinner liqueur, and it's derived from like rhubarb and a bunch of other herbs, and it has a very bitter, almost medicinal flavor to it. And then the dry vermouth, that's a fortified wine, so it's kind of sweet, kind of like got that wine funk to it. And then of course orange peel, just a little bit of orange oil in there gives you that brightness and that acidity. And then Cointreau is an orange liqueur that I also sprinkled in here a little bit just to because Negroni without that it's very bitter, and this is still quite bitter, but the Cointreau brightens it up a little bit, makes it a little more palatable, a little easier. And yeah, Negroni. Let's see here. Sidecars. I've heard of a sidecar, but I actually don't know what that is. Uh, okay, Tide Pod is a real shot. It's Bailey's orange liqueur and blue curacao. That's interesting. I mean, it's probably good because it's just chocolate and chocolate and orange is a good combination. So, like, I could see. Oh, I've been banished. I'm back. Can you hear us, Sam?
I can hear you, yeah.
I gotcha. Any luck on the computer? I've just been going
Maybe.
on a cocktail rant.
Yeah, I've been catching it on and off. You've been doing a great job teaching everybody how to make cocktails.
Yeah. But yeah, how's the computer going? Oh. I've been replaced.
Been replaced.
I've been returned.
Yes. Like I said, I don't know what happened.
Seems to be good now.
Hopefully.
Hopefully it can stay.
Yeah. You're a menace to society. I'm.
Oh no.
That's what I. Okay, let's see what chat has said.
I think you've frozen again. But you're back.
Can I ask you to host our sprint timers?
How? I can do, but I just need to know how to.
Okay. Go click on that.
Gotcha.
Eva says, do a live stream mocktail party. That'd be fun. Unsure if cocktails are allowed on stream. So just leave.
Well, I just spent a long time detailing this cocktail, so if it's not, sorry.
To be fair, my stream, YouTube already age gates my streams, so I think we're fine.
Oh. Well, there we go. So we can have an actual cocktail party.
Yeah, maybe for the holiday bash.
Yeah, everyone dress nice, make your favorite cocktail.
Dress nice or in PJs.
Oh yeah, isn't that generally our theme? Is nice or PJs?
Usually we just do pajama. It's slowly becoming our annual pajama party. Then I'll have been even more tipsy stories.
I think introducing alcohol to streams is a great idea.
There is absolutely no way that could go poorly.
Not at all. I do have the video pulled up.
Okay. Down at the bottom, there's a present option on the StreamYard.
Uh-huh.
Click it and then click share screen.
Okay.
And then go to, you should be able to find the tab that way.
Share screen. Oh, how nice. You can share that. Oh!
Yeah, go and now make it full screen. It won't actually full screen it, but it'll fill out the thing. There you go.
Outstanding.
Cool.
And then I can play. Well, that's nifty.
Yes.
All right.
We're not going to go into the sprint yet, but
okay.
When I tried to pull, we were going smooth, and then I tried to pull up the thing, and then it stopped going smooth again, and I was like, nope.
Gotcha.
Gonna have Matt do that part.
That I can do.
Well, then just so everyone knows, when we do the holiday bash in December, bring your cocktails,
we could do drinking games.
We will have to see, because not all of the viewers like to drink. And
yes, that's true. They can just not drink and have an advantage in the games.
Eva will have cocoa and a bong. Nice.
Just off screen, just
cocoa with a little Irish cream in it.
Cocoa with a little peppermint schnapps in it.
Ooh.
Also,
yes. Everyone will just have spiked cocoa.
Ooh, or a hot toddy. Hot toddies are great,
They can
especially if you're
have
not feeling
water
well.
and be nice and hydrated. Yes.
Yeah.
Force your friends to be good to themselves.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you lose. You have to do your skincare routine. Gotcha.
Like every other shot is water.
Yeah. Or like Pedialyte. We're like, let's get your electrolytes up, everyone.
Alcohol just steals my joy from tomorrow. I
Word.
have to be careful. There's a 50-50 of it triggering a migraine. So
Yeah.
I always have to be very willing.
As the
Like I
person
gotta
who,
risk that next
yeah.
for you. The non-drinkers can be the ones who make the drinking rules. Could do the drinking games with water. Yeah, see, that's what we were saying.
Or a nice iced
Have them
tea.
choose a team coming in, or eat candies. I used to do that in high school.
I used to, as a child, do a similar type thing, but instead of candy, because we wanted it to be a punishment, it would be. I don't know if anyone else's dad is like this, but really into like mustards and hot sauces and just any condiment on earth. Um, so how it would work is if you lost, generally it was Mario Kart, but whatever we were doing, uh, everyone else would go to the fridge and grab a jar of something, and then we would mix it all together, and they had to drink that.
That reminds me. Okay, so my dad was, well, he still is a gamer, right?
Mhm.
And there was this Digimon fighting game, and my dad was a lot uh more skilled at games in general than we were, as he had 20-ish years of experience over us. And fighting games are not my forte to this day, unless it's
Mine
Bloody
either.
Roar. Bloody Roar is the only fighting game I will claim to have any amount of skill in. But and my dad was using this character who was very overpowered. I don't care what anybody says. But his thing was, if we beat him, we didn't have to help clean the house. And so for the first time ever, I beat my dad in a fighting game, and I was so stoked. But I still had to clean my room because my room
Wow.
didn't count as part of the house. And I was all like,
Bogus.
if this had been any other situation and I tried to say my room didn't count as part of the house, I told my mom, and she was like, she's like, dear, that is unfair. And she made him buy me McDonald's. Because in my family, McDonald's was the
Was
solution to
the
everything.
pinnacle.
Like you had to go do a checkup and you got a shot. We're going to McDonald's. Fox said the Digimon game was called Rumble Arena, and that is correct. That does sound
Speaking
accurate.
of McDonald's being a reward, my parents had a strange obstacle with me, which is that like a lot of kids, you're able to do similar type stuff of like, oh, if you do this, we'll get McDonald's or anything like that. But the problem was that I, as a child, really didn't like any sort of like unhealthy food. Like what I hated McDonald's. I didn't like cake or like I've never been a huge like candy
Yeah.
guy. And so they'd have to like they spent years trying to figure out like what kind of food would be a good reward because it wasn't because they couldn't just be like, oh, if you do well, you'll get green beans because we were gonna give you green beans anyway. They finally found that smoothies were a
Oh
very good
yeah,
reward,
smoothies
a
are
little
good.
fruit smoothie. Although now I don't vibe with fruit smoothies so much anymore. Now I
Jess will 100% be doing cocoa because I haven't drank alcohol in years. I did PvP and WoW back in the olden days. Uh, that's great. My dad, and at least two, maybe three of my uncles, and then two of my aunts all played WoW together. They were all in a guild and stuff, so they did raids together. Tina, I have or me, I have a 700 to 1,000 word essay I'm working on. I have the outline, but I'm already sick of looking at it, so I've been procrastinating. I just plugged my outline into a word counter. 876 words. What do you
Risk it all. Just turn the outline in. Just turn it in. There you go. Mission accomplished. Will you get an A? No. Will you fail? Also, maybe no.
Also, maybe not. Dad, I said you didn't have to clean the house. I didn't say I'd clean your room. Well, that's the thing. I shared my bedroom with my two sisters who both lost.
Yeah.
Therefore,
So they have to clean the
by
room.
the rule, also, I, as the oldest by 5 and 6 years, routinely cleaned the room by myself. I earned my day off through gambling.
Yeah.
Whether or not I could defeat my father in a video game.
You should have had the right to throw garbage all over the room and then make them clean it as the champion.
It was the first time, damn it.
Yeah.
The only fighting game I was decent at was Soul Calibur 2. Nope, sucked at that one. Like, I was good enough to get through the story modes, but against actual people, no.
Yep.
My son didn't eat cookies or cake for ages. He still doesn't often.
I was the same
Neither
way.
does my, like, we'll go out to eat somewhere and we'll get two of them, like, hey, do you want like ice cream or dessert or something? And they will, but then the third one won't. And then it's like, we feel bad because we're like, we want to give the third one a treat, but really, he's fine. He doesn't care. He's like, no, I know, I don't like it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So this is the same child who we'll just order the entree salads too. So
I love an entree salad.
wow.
Me and this child have the same palate.
I ran a guild and a raid team. We were first on server for PvP and second for PvP. Nice. It was a small server, but still. I dropped it to save my degree. I was going to fail out due to time management. Yeah, raids take a lot of planning and time. I was gonna say just make the outline look pretty and like put some effort into it and turn it in.
Just put it in a
You
nice,
beat
pretty
the
font.
house. The house said, nah, your room isn't the house. It's okay. Mom came home and overruled it. But also, I had already been like halfway done with no, because we had to finish before my mom got home. So and damn it, I work with a deadline. So I had to finish the whole room. I did that a couple of times and got decent grades. Nice. I meant second for PvE. Oh, okay.
Speaking of fighting games, I had the realization like fairly recently. So like a lot of my friends growing up like didn't really play video games too. Like we'd play like casually, but like my brother and one of my other friends, we were the ones that like really would like play video games together. And I finally like broke it to them that I'm just like, guys, I'm bad at video games. I'm not good at them. I like them and they're fun, but I'm not good at any of them. And they're just like, oh my god, yeah, you're not. You're not good at these. Because they would like consistently win and they'd be like, well, we toughed it out. And I'm like, no, I'm not a good contest for anyone. I have no natural ability at video games. Not my skill set. Like they're fun and I really like playing them, but no, the buttons, there are so many.
All right, well, we should go into our first sprite because we're 35 minutes in, even though I know it doesn't necessarily feel like that, but.
All right. Since I have to push the button, do you want to count us down?
Yeah, I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello.
Hello. I
We're
did.
we're back. You don't have to lower it. That's I lower it.
Oh, you lower it. Fantastic.
Yes. I went to lower it. I'm like, where did it go?
I was in there for like the last 45 seconds of the sprint, like, all right, gotta get this just right.
You're like, I don't want people to see my recommendeds.
Yeah.
People see my recommendeds all the time.
I did almost no writing that sprint, but I was just running all around.
Yes, I realized that I forgot to ask what everybody would be working on today. So this is not an uncommon occurrence, which is why I have a banner prepared.
I was going to do some editing, but then I was like, okay, I need to put these dishes away though. So I went and put those dishes away. And one of the dishes that I put away was a coffee mug, and I was like, ooh, I really want some tea. So I made some tea. And then I made my tea and I sat down and I edited for a couple minutes. And then I was like, gosh, this dirt on my face that no one can even see is really bothering me. I'm going to go wash my face. So I went and washed my face. And then we
To
were
make
pretty much done with the sprint at that point.
to make you feel even better about your decision to wash your face, I didn't even know the dirt was gone.
Yeah, because it wasn't really ever there in a practical sense.
For the holidays, Matt, I'm just gonna mail you, or I'm gonna order you some tiny makeup palettes.
Just some basic makeup so that for costumes I can actually do that. Because I would be lying if I said this was the first time I put dirt all over my face and body for a costume.
This was like $3 or $4, and it's got like I bought it because I ran out of purple. And then today I was like, oh, retail zombie. I'm like, oh, I just bought some new purples. And that's really all you need to look dead is some purple.
Yeah.
And if you have purple and black, you can pretty much make close to brown. Oh, I got words done. How many? Like 108. And I have to make some decisions for this outline that I'm very groggy minded, so slow going decisions.
I did delete almost a full page, which was nice.
Nice. All right, catching up on chat. Oh, that was at the video game. You have an old soul. Yo, same. RP also likes video games.
Yeah, like they're a great time. Love playing them. More than happy to play a video game. I'll just likely lose.
Which I very much agree with Eva. Video games are meant to be fun. There's different levels in most games. Competition doesn't have to be part.
Yeah.
That's something that I constantly tell my kids whenever like a video game starts upsetting them. I'm like, if you're not having fun, play a different game. Or just like take a break from it. Because video games, they're entertainment. They're supposed to be fun. If you're getting stressed out or not having fun, I don't see the point of the video game. I have some friends that like to play games like Dark Souls and stuff, which like raises their blood pressure, makes them angry, and I'm like, I can't.
I've definitely been guilty of getting angry at video games in my past, like especially like as a teenager and stuff.
Part of it, I know that part of it like is that sense of achievement or accomplishment when they do something really hard, and so I'm not knocking that. If you like really, and some people just like being mad, it's a stress reliever from the day-to-day grind. I am just not one such person. I like to play my games to relax while I do other things.
Yeah.
Not in WoW. I stay in solo play games. That's fair. Tina was behind on the live, but honestly, she would love if someone made her a smoothie every time she achieved something. Same. I wondered, how should I start this persuasive essay convincing the reader to read an article I enjoyed? So I put, in a world where generative artificial intelligence is increasingly used to create mediocre, sloppy articles.
Cook, Tina, cook.
one of my children was in my room the other day, and because they chose to stay in my room beyond the time that I necessarily wanted them in my room, I started asking them questions. I was like, "What is your opinion on AI?" They were like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Are you like for, against, or do you have a nuanced take?" And they were like, "I think it can be good, but also it can be bad. Like when people make AI to make videos, is like then creators like could lose their jobs." And I was like,
They're like, you may leave in peace.
it's like I'm doing a good job raising you. Hey, 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 you, come back, come back. Can you get me soda too? Please. Here, look, they can't see you. There you go.
I'll like have a coworker like mention AI, and I'm just like, oh, you mean that evil thing? You mean that one?
It's not entirely evil though.
It's not entirely evil.
Yeah,
That's true.
like my
But
child,
I
like
like
spell
to
check
hate on
is
it.
a form of AI that I've
True.
used since I was 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, but there's yeah,
But,
like there's a difference between using it to assist you and using it to just do the
right.
things.
Because yeah, like they're like,
Oh, well.
I'll use AI to write my emails for me. I'm like, oh, so you're plagiarizing your emails? Interesting.
Like that's a choice. Kelly got 237 words written and then some supper ready. Aw, yeah. Jessica got 687 words for that sprint. We're sharing secrets in episodes 29 and 30 of To Kill Me Kindly. Ooh. Matt's thought process is literally
I don't know exactly what this is in reference to, but
possibly
yeah,
dirt.
dirt. Yeah, probably
Or the
dirt.
AI. I accomplished dinner and a drink and a little bit of organizing my desk. Nice.
Nice.
I moved into a townhouse last weekend, so I'm still unpacking. That's fair.
I love the post move unpack and the way that, at least for me, it consistently takes about 6 months to unpack everything after moving because I'm like, it's in here. Like, I'll unpack as I need stuff.
That would be Jessica's whip, which I'm sure she answered this in better detail, and therefore I will wait till I get to hers. Bella was reading a fanfic that had a video game description in it, and I really want it to be real, even though I don't really play video games. That's fair. RP doesn't really play video games anymore, though. I get sucked into them, and then I don't do anything that's actually productive. Fair. I can let me tell you. Me and Hyrule were so. Firstly, Echoes of Wisdom came out. Did I say it right? He's not listening to me. Every time I say it wrong, he is right there. So I must have said it right. But Echoes of Wisdom came out, and I started. It's like I'm not allowed to play Echoes of Wisdom until I finish everything on my task list. But like when I'm listening to an audiobook or something, I'll play some Hyrule Warriors. And so Hyrule Warriors has begun to consume my life. And I'm like, I'm not allowed to play Hyrule Warriors unless one, I'm feeling too sick to do anything anyway, so I know I'm not going to get anything done. Or two, I have finished everything except listening to my audiobooks. Because, like, I'm like, yeah, I just got to listen to my audiobook for an hour. And the next thing I know, my husband's like, did you take a nap? And it's been like 4 hours since I checked our messages. And I'm like,
Yes.
like I was unlocking weapon upgrades. To Kill Me Kindly is my Patreon exclusive episodic Hades Persephone, but gay story. And then she wanted a like gay in a dude way or gay in a lesbian way. Either is great. We do like clarity. Leftover turkey and oh yes, happy Canadian
Yes.
Thanksgiving to all our Canadians. Gay in a dude way, but I haven't written it yet. I'm plotting it right now, so nothing's posted. Then Tina said, "Me too, Turkey Day." Bella spent the sprint, do some dishes, see a mug, want tea, sit down, go to work.
That's what she found relatable. Yeah.
Got you.
What a tangled thread my existence is.
I was like part correct when I said dirt on your face. I will share when I start posting things, most likely around March.
Nice.
We support pre-planning paid content.
Yeah.
I support pre-planning any content, but
I just support pre-planning. That's just
what? Shocking.
I know. Me plan stuff in advance? That's downright bonkers.
I was going to share something else and I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, I'm really bad at reading ebooks. Getting my 10 pages a day is a struggle. Not because I have anything against ebooks, just because my eyes and ebooks just do not want to agree with each other.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm like, okay. There's no way the Nook app doesn't have an accessibility thing to read things out loud to me in the event that I was blind. And I was correct. Is this a horribly robotic voice that has absolutely no emotion? Yes. But
so why not audiobook at that point?
I don't have an audiobook for this book. This book does not have an audiobook.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'm like,
okay, so the book is The Blood Race by E.M. The fuck is your last name? I don't remember. It's over there. But it's one of the May books that I picked for the Year of Favorites Readathon. And I spent several months trying to hunt down a way to read this book. And the only ways I could find read the book would be to order a physical copy of the book or to get the ebook on like Kindle or Nook. And what was I was talking about Blood Race. Sorry,
yeah.
I just completely zoned out there for a second. But yeah, so I could only really find it on ebook because the paperback costs a little bit too much for me to justify buying it when I don't know how I'm going to particularly enjoy the book, when there's some books that were coming out that I knew that I would absolutely love and be upset if I could not purchase. So yeah, I bit the bullet, bought the ebook. Yeah. And I was reading 10 pages a day, but like I said, that was a struggle bus, and I wanted to finish it a little faster, so I had to start reading it to me.
Gotcha.
While I play Hyrule Warriors, and that's going great. I love everything about the book except this one character who pisses me off so much. God, I hate her. And I want her to be a villain so badly. If she's a villain, I will love her for being so terrible because she's a bad guy. But if she's supposed to be a good guy, I remain on the I hate this woman train.
Yeah.
Nicole said, I haven't said much. I'm on chapter 22, 24 of my outline. Awesome. I call it Turkey Day because I don't like to call them Thanksgiving because of the controversial origins of Thanksgiving and what the name implies. And for my family, it's really just about eating food, primarily the turkey. So that's why I call it Turkey Day. Also just went to check on something for this essay and saw I got my marks back for my outline, 95%, baby.
Well done.
For someone who's been chanting D's get degrees, I am not living up
to
That's
so me.
We'll forgive you for this.
When I was in college, I was so just like, guys, our grades don't even like matter. Like just as long as you pass, you pass. Meanwhile, I'm like, if I get anything but an A+ on this, I'm going to spiral for the next 4 to 7 days.
like, I am trying to live the nonchalant life. It is not working out.
It is not working out. That really is me. I'd love to be nonchalant about things, but I am a chalant person.
Oh, tomorrow I get my first teenager.
Wow. How you feeling about it?
I keep reminding him, and I'm making it a big deal for him, but
Yeah,
it's he's grown so much since the beginning of summer that it's like
I
I
did.
was, I was being mean to him. Well, like playfully mean to him earlier
Mhm.
because like we called him into the room while Chris was in here because we're taking him out and stuff for his birthday tomorrow. And I was like, "Do you know what I was doing 13 years ago on this day?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "You were being very mean to your mother. You wouldn't let me nap." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I was in the hospital, and every time I tried to fall asleep, I would get a contraction." And he was like, "You can't blame me. That was younger me. I was a very different person then."
My mom does something similar talking about my birth because she always tells her mom was like visiting at the time so that she could be there for like the delivery and stuff. And her mom had made my mom's favorite dinner, and it's like this whole spread. And as dinner is like done cooking, my mom's water broke, and she did not get to eat said dinner. I was like, Mom, you should have just like stuck it out for another 45 minutes, scarfed it all down, then go to the hospital to have
No,
me.
bro, like
Just
you
scarf
think
it
so.
down. Or put it in Tupperware
You
so you can have it in the hospital after the fact.
Yes, that one I agree with, but, like, during the actual thing, there's so much going on with your stomach, like,
Yeah.
I wanted to eat so bad, but I felt so sick, and also you're not supposed to eat while you're in labor, I
Yeah.
think. I don't know. I just know I felt like throwing up. And then, like, not like we were I was in labor for 14 hours, and then I made Chris go get me a Big Mac. I don't eat McDonald's much anymore, but growing up, Big Macs were like my special jam.
I've literally never had a Big Mac. I've had McDonald's. I've never had a Big Mac.
Not gonna lie, they're not the greatest burgers in the world. I just really enjoy the layering.
Yeah.
That's RP said, "Nice, Tina. See, all you gotta do is make the outline look sound pretty good, and you're good." Tina said, "Thank you, RP." And yeah, I'm so mad I procrastinated on this all weekend, but I didn't want to do more work on it.
Word.
Relatable.
I miss college. I don't miss college, but I miss college.
I was like, "Are you sure? Do you
No,
miss essays, Matt?
I do miss essays. I
You
love
could just
essays.
write some if you wanted."
Yeah, but I without the deadline and the pressure, I wouldn't actually do it.
I can give you deadlines and tell you how disappointed I will be in you if that adds pressure.
Goes, oh, I have a hobby I want to do, but I need someone to yell at me if I don't do it.
No, I'm not gonna yell. I'm just gonna be very quietly disappointed, which is
Yeah.
worse.
I need to be able to see my grades on the essays online and track them over the course of a semester.
That's too much work for me. I can't do that for you. I'm already keeping track of 3 children's grades.
Yeah, it's one of those. I for the last several years, it's been that little like evil demon in the back of my head going like, "Oh, you could go to grad school." And I'm like, "No, we
You're
will
like,
not be doing that."
I don't need to. I don't want to. Jessica said I was so tired when I had my daughter because I went into labor during my 3 a.m. bathroom run. It was rude. We'll give you grades, Matt. Stream presentation.
Look, I
Matt, do your hobby. If you don't, I'll give you a nap.
we're all laughing, but I would stress about it and put so much work into these presentations.
You're already like starting to look stressed just from thinking about it. Sam being like, I can give you the mom disappointment if you meet exactly.
Yeah. I if there's not a little bit of pressure, I can't do things. I need a sprinkling of deadline and uh pressure in order to actually do work.
That's fair. I know a lot of people who need that motivator.
Yeah.
Again, there was something I was going to say. That needs to be on the Sam stream bingo cards.
No, I mean, that's part of why I love my current job as much as I do, is because it's all like fairly high pressure. So I'm like, hell yeah, like adrenaline every day. I love it. But then my mom's like, yeah, but like you're gonna die.
You're
and, I'm like, and I'm like, I
I'll
mean,
be fine.
aren't we all someday, mom?
It's like once my blood pressure gets high enough, they'll start medicating me for it.
Yeah. I'm like, mom, I was just at the doctor. My blood pressure is fine for
I
now.
I did get my soda. Thank you. It was the middle child who got it for me, and they are the stealthiest of all the children at avoiding being on the camera. So, like, literally went all the way around the bed.
Crawling on the ceiling.
One day you're just gonna see a hand.
Yeah, it just repels down.
But oh, I was gonna sort of continue. Like when I told my oldest, I was like, yeah, so I was in labor with you for 14 hours. He goes, what about the other two? And I was like, well, the second one was actually only 8.5. It was kind of short. And I'm like, the third one's a little more complicated. Because technically I was in and out of labor for like 6 days. But
Oh
once
Lord.
the like yeah, it was oh, bro, it was such a mind fuck because I was like, I'm going into real labor, but they're like, well, you're not contracting now, so it must be Braxton Hicks. I was like, this is my third pregnancy, not my first. I didn't get Braxton Hicks contractions with any of them. These seem pretty real to me. And then like I had an appointment on Tuesday, and I was like, okay, I'll go into my appointment, and my OB was like, she's almost out. Like if we get you started on the I think it's Pitocin, like
Mhm.
she'll be out in the next like 2 hours. Bro, it wasn't even an hour. So I'm
Uh,
like, that was a little harder to time.
yeah. Uh,
Because like it wasn't like an entire 6 days. It would just like start and then it would stop. She was like getting her hours in.
right. She's,
She's
she's
like,
like, I'm just gonna space this out, right?
I'm gonna take my time.
I'm a dilly dally, just kind of chill for a bit. No, my mom also had 3 children, and my brother, her oldest, definitely gave her the hardest time because so for those that haven't met me in person, my head's pretty big, right? Uh, my brother's head is, I would say, 20 to 30% larger than my head, and so he broke her tailbone being born
Ow!
because of his massive head.
He broke her butt?
Yes,
Can't even imagine.
because his head is the size of a watermelon. And
Oh,
so, me and my sister would get off easy because whenever this conversation comes up of putting our mother through labor, because we're always just like, "Oh, did we break your tailbone? We didn't? Hmm. Seems
it
like he's the problem."
seems like I'm not as big a
Yeah,
problem as
I
you.
just had the umbilical cord tied around my neck because I'm an idiot.
I came up sunny side up.
Mm,
And I tell my mom all the time that I did that because I wanted to come into the world. Like, I
yeah,
wanted to come in seeing the world, not facing down.
yeah.
Um, Bella says when my mom had me, she was playing cards when the doctor came in to check on her, how she was doing, and she was ready. Eva said I got back a broken tail.
Yeah.
Please tell me you guys poke fun at him for that. Okay, good.
It's like 80% of our conversations is making fun of his massive head.
As someone who has seen Matt in person, he does have a big head.
Large head. Large head. My brother's is 20 to 30% bigger. So, Sam, you and others that have seen me in person can just imagine what that looks like. His body is also a good like 30% larger than my body, so like it's proportional at least. He is
It's all about
proportional.
proportions, really.
But yeah.
That's not the one I wanted. That is. All right. So, Matt, go ahead and count us down.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. I liked that.
Oh, I don't. I gotta be doing that. I must confess that I had started to write and get into a decent flow. Well,
But then,
first I went and I Googled a thing because I was very curious about the thing, and so I needed to educate myself. And I was like, okay, now that I am somewhat educated on it, I turned my music on to start a thing. And at first, I thought maybe it was just Chris's tiny thing and the way that I was seeing the video out of my peripheral, but no. So as we all know, I like alternative rock in many a flavor because alternative rock comes in many a flavor,
true.
including Creed. And on my playlist for my current project, I have 6 Feet from the Edge by Creed. And I realize I haven't seen the video in 20 years. And that's a video. Um, First of all, it's not quite a fisheye effect, but there's like this weird
Oh
squint
no.
but like it's not full fisheye, it's just a little fisheye. So it's like his face is just like there, and there's so much of his face, and it doesn't help. He's like, the whole thing is I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm
Yeah.
so he's all like, and then like the thing's crumbling, so he's always like, trying to be very dramatic and lean back so he can walk back. But because of that, and the little sort of fisheye, he's like this, just the whole video, and I'm just sitting here, just like watching. And then the video gets weird when he falls off the cliff. And there's this woman standing there in this like Greco-Roman goddessy outfit with like, this is actually kind of cool because she's like bleeding blood into this bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know why though, because she gives him the bowl and then she runs off into the desert, and there's this vaguely Tibetan man sitting in this giant rock elephant. And then there's these very, very late 90s, early 2000s looking like ancient civilization priestesses
Oh no.
in a circle. It's just like this. And it's funny because like, this video starts out and I'm sitting here thinking, I really miss 90s men's fashion because like the button-ups with the leather pants and the boots, that was just so cool. And then everything goes weird and I'm like, wait a sec. And I'm just staring at it. It's not just I'm watching it, and I could not focus on anything other than what was happening in that video until it ended. And I was like,
Something similar is going on Twitter. It's it's making its rounds right now. It's the music video for "In the End" by Linkin Park, and it is brutal. It has a ton of like CGI, but it like looks just terrible. It's these weird like stone like
yeah.
electricity vine things that are like reaching out.
See, okay. The thing that I had forgot, but like it is a very big thing with alternative rock, especially any alternative rock made from the early 90s to the 2010s, right?
Yeah.
And like it's I've been listening to some of these playlists where it'll be like alternative rock from like these eras, and I tried to put the like captions on, but as opposed to having the lyrics, the captions were just like this genre of music tends to have, and then it like describes the things it has in common. And one of the things it was like is that the music is often very introspective, existential crisis, or talking about self struggles and all of that. And I'm like, yes, you are correct, closed captions that are not the lyrics that I was expecting. This may be why I like them. And so, like, a lot of their videos were supposed to be like very symbolic of
Yeah.
the different, and like if you watch the video, I could see how it's symbolic of him being 6 feet from the edge and being very tempted by it. It's just also I didn't expect these things, and
Yeah.
the graphics are
Yeah, the graphics from back then and
faces.
the music video, it's like you guys didn't have much budget, did you?
They were working with what they had. Eva said my mom was told to abort me due to being unwed and over 35. I'm hella pro-choice. I got my child to bed that sprint and then got Doritos. I'm gonna finish watching this TMZ special on P. Diddy. I bet that's an interesting special. Oh yeah, and then this is you guys want to see I bet I made some faces. Yeah, and then I answered what the video was. Kelly got 204 words written that sprint. She's 110 words away from their total word count for the day. I will get it done. I believe in you. And we got one more sprint, so I crocheted instead of writing and realized now that I accidentally made the back longer than the front, which isn't bad. Excuse me, it's not. I quite enjoy when the backs of like shirts or dresses or something. I like that like not necessarily tapered, but asymmetrical thing. Have you heard Linkin Park's making new music with the new? I have. I have a friend who very obsessively has become into the new stuff and the new singer, and I've heard some of the stuff. I think it sounds really nice.
I've only heard
am
one.
morally torn because of some things I have heard about her and some things the old singer whose name's son has also said. So I'm a little torn, but I love me some Linkin Park. And skill wise, she's a phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what kind of happened. So they finally they released a single with her as the singer, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I listened to it, I'm like, this rocks. Like, I think this is really good. And then I learned the same stuff of like, oh, this is a little dubious about her as the choice.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like I'm really torn because also like the way that they're introducing her and everything, they're handling it so like well and smartly. Like a lot of their new stuff has the old guy because there's always been two singers in Linkin Park,
right?
And it has the old singer whom is still alive. He sings first, and
Mike Shinoda, I believe, is his name.
I will take your word for it. I know nobody's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I love her voice. It's just
skill wise and everything.
Yeah,
I
think it's a good fit.
I like their new songs.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I need to do my own research.
Yep.
Into things, but yeah. Tina said, finish the essay. It's not due until tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. So I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to submit it. Fair enough. Yes, rest in peace, Chester.
Very much.
I wasn't sure at first I was on board with a new singer, but then I heard one of their new songs and she is very good.
She is without a doubt very, very good.
I always go with the thing of like, I will hear it before I make my judgments because people can be good or bad. Oh, that's like two singers that I fucking love to death did a cover of Iris, and I was like, oh
yes, I love that song. Breaking Benjamin and Diamante, am I pronouncing that right?
Diamante.
Yes, love that cover.
I can't. I was so disappointed.
You don't like it?
No, I don't. I would have done it so much better, and I think that's my issue. I think my issue is because I really love Diamante. I listen to actually several of her songs are on this playlist. Like if you have a character in your whip who is all about basically that Rocky Balboa what was that whole Rocky Balboa thing of it doesn't matter how hard you can take a hit, it matters how hard you can take a hit and get back up. That's like her song.
So she's literally like one of the primary like artists on my playlist for the love interest in my whip. Like I love Diamante.
I do too. She's so good.
But yeah, like I really like that cover. I do agree. Like, I think they could have done more with it, but part of it is I loved that song initially, Like I love the original too. So I also very much enjoyed the cover.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're right. It is 9. All right, go ahead. You take yours, and I need a refill on my drink before I can take my pills. My 2 of my kids have migraine symptoms, and so their pediatrician, since they're too young to be diagnosed with migraines, and they might not
Sure.
even have migraines, they may just have some symptoms. So they take some vitamins that she said are shown that like in if you like take them in your childhood, even if you do develop migraines later in
Mhm.
life, the symptoms aren't as bad. So they take theirs daily. Well, one of my kids really on top of taking theirs. The other one, much like their mother, terrible at taking daily medication.
Yeah.
So we work together to make sure that we take them at the same time. So
I've become such a like vitamin and supplement guy over the last couple years.
just you should get a blood panel done though, because taking too much of a
Oh
vitamin
yeah. So that's what prompted it is I had a blood panel done and I was like, we're fixing that. And so now I have many a supplement.
I well I started I took magnesium before I started taking my shot, but it like basically did nothing at the time.
Yeah.
But like I talked to my doctor since, and so I also now take the vitamins to try to kind of see if it assists the
Mhm.
shot. So
I take I also take magnesium. Though I haven't once I'm done with my current bottle of magnesium, I'm switching to a magnesium slash calcium slash vitamin D.
mm,
That's gonna be really nice. And then I also do they're literally just like turmeric capsules because turmeric is so good for you and really good for anti-inflammation. So I take those. I have a regular multivitamin I take, and then fish oil to round out my supplement cocktail.
I just took my medicine and vitamin cocktail. I would also, just in case y'all haven't heard me sing the Gospel of Hailstorm before, Hailstorm's amazing.
I don't think I've heard you sing the Gospel of Hailstorm.
Okay, so Hailstorm is actually a band that I was really into before the kids were born, but it's like one of those things where I didn't realize how into them I was until some years ago. Hailstorm and Evanescence did a combo tour, and they just happened to go to Nashville. And so Chris really loves Evanescence. And I was like, oh, well, I
Mm.
like Hailstorm and Evanescence enough to go that I would enjoy both of them. And I was like on our way there and stuff, I'm like, I don't know how much Hailstorm I'm gonna know. I just hope that they play this like this song Back from the Dead that I was like obsessed with at the
I
time.
do know that song.
Yes. And then they opened up the show with Back from the Dead.
That's
And
such a good opener.
of course later my sister was like, it's called the Back from the Dead tour, right? And I'm like, I did not. this is new information to me. But
Yeah.
I knew all the words to every single song Hailstorm sang. And my husband just looked at me and he goes, oh, but you don't know if you're
Yeah.
singing. I was like, shh.
You
And
don't
oh
need to
my
know.
gosh, they're so good at performing
Yeah.
like live and stuff. They're such good performers. Um, she's also tall as fuck and wears tall boots on
Yeah.
stage. And poor Amy Lee is short as fuck. So then her and Hale sort of beside each other. It's like you and me in the pictures were
Yeah.
really great. So
Uh no,
also, like she was actually underage when they started making music, and a lot of time, like because stories of the not is it Joan Jett? Yeah, like stories from like the 80s with Joan Jett and stuff when like a lot of them started when they were like 15 and 16, but then like terrible things happened and they like were given drugs and stuff. But with
Right.
Hailstorm, her band members actually like looked out for her a lot and took care of her.
Good.
And they're like she wasn't allowed to drink or go to the after parties or anything until
Yeah.
after she was of age. And I'm like, oh, that's
Nice.
sweet. I can support you on an even deeper level now.
Yeah.
So I love Hailstorm.
Uh,
RP also loves Hailstorm. They're still making new music too. Like it seems like everyone I grew up listening to is either dying or retiring. So I love it when they keep putting out new stuff. Same RP, same. I remember having a huge crush on Lizzie Hale growing up. That's fair.
no. So I'm like not a huge concert guy, but one of the only ones I've been to was a Breaking Benjamin concert,
Mm-hmm.
and they opened with Red Cold River, which I don't know if you've heard that song, but like it's such a good like because it opens with like a scream and they like did it as like the curtain just fell.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, that rocks so hard.
I've only been to like I think 3 concerts, and I was lucky enough that all 3 of the ones I went to, they were great performers because like not every musician is a great live performer.
Right.
It's technically a different skill set in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like as much as I love Evanescence, not the most riveting live stage performance. But Guns N' Roses, so good. It's funny because there was like a part where I want to say it was during Sweet Child of Mine where Slash and their bassist get into like a guitar, a solo, like back and forth and stuff. And then Axel like talks to the crowd every now and then and he's like, yeah, I don't know how long this is gonna go either, guys. Like, I'm just waiting for my cue. So
that rocks. Yeah, I've learned that I'm in the minority for this.
what are you missing?
But my thing with concerts is I've always just kind of been like, I don't like it when I can like hear the audience singing. Like I'm more of a like, all right, everyone just sit down, watch the artist perform respectfully, and then at the end we all go.
No, that's not what concerts are.
I know, and that's why I'm like, hey, I'm just not really a concert guy because what I want isn't what a concert is.
You want a private performance.
Well, no, I'd love for everyone to enjoy, but I'd love it for it to be indoors. We're all dressed up, nice, and we all sit down quietly in our assigned
like
seats.
An opera house.
Yes, because I've been to those and I love those. I love orchestra performances, or like I went to like a. It wasn't Tony Bennett, but it was like meant to be like a Tony Bennett, cover guy concert for like it was like a Christmas thing. And I'm like, this rocks. I love this. Like, that's my kind of live music. I don't like everyone being so loud and all around.
We can go to orchestras together.
Yeah, like I went to
we can never go. I am very much the loud.
Yeah. And it was one of those things that like the first like I went to concerts and I'm like, everyone's so loud. Like, what are we doing? And then I'm just like, okay, nope, I'm the problem here. I don't like concerts. But yeah, like I drove up to Cleveland a few years back with some friends, and we went to a Final Fantasy orchestra concert where a live orchestra did music just from Final Fantasy games. And I'm
you have to go to one of those?
It's so fun. And I'm just like, this is the best concert I've ever been to.
They did a tour for one of the Zelda anniversaries.
I really want to go to a Kingdom Hearts one.
That would be so good.
Like,
I love seeing some of the like memes and stuff where it shows it's like, oh, ask somebody to make this thing. It's like you didn't have to make it slap so hard.
Yeah.
And they had one of those for, I forgot her name, but the composer for the Kingdom Hearts opening.
Oh gosh. I also can't think of her name.
But they were
I
like,
can find
ma'am,
it.
you didn't have to. And then she's like, shh.
Kingdom Hearts holds such a special place in my heart that like going to a Kingdom Hearts music performance would. Mm, but okay, who is that? I can't think of her name.
She,
Hikaru Utada.
yes, I've actually gone to a convention where she did a live performance.
That would rule.
Kelly said that makes sense. You're there for the
Yeah.
music. I went to an orchestra once with a friend and loved it, but no one has invited me, and I just
Yeah, not a whole lot of people are like, "Yo, what are you doing Friday night? You want to go to the orchestra?" Like, hard to find those
look,
people.
look here, Uncle Matt. 2 of my children are in band, so if they continue on to this and they join an orchestra one day,
I'm there
you'll have you'll have a reason and an excuse.
because I love orchestras.
Orchestral music. All right. Hopefully, I'm not going to get too distracted by any videos.
Yeah.
I have my playlist like right here. But like I said, the playlist for this project was so anemic. It only had 2 songs, and then it had 4 songs, and I was like, okay, I need more songs than this. Just because I like having more songs than this. And then so I just YouTube started being like, hey, Bish, we know you like alternative rock and punk music and shit. And I'm like, I do indeed. And
I
they're like,
do.
have these videos that are like an hour or 2 hours long where it's just this genre of
Yeah,
music. And I'm
I
like,
love when YouTube does that for me.
yeah, I'm like, okay, YouTube, let's go. And then as I listen to the songs there, if like one strikes me as, oh, this would be really good for this project, I'll go ahead and add it to the project playlist without looking at the video. And now today I'm like, well, let's just listen to the project playlist, see what I've gotten to it, because maybe I might
Yeah.
want to go add some other vibes to it. But I no longer remember what's on here. So now I'm afeared. I am afeared of what is going to be
Yeah.
in my head. Uh, Matt, talk to chat while I try to remember where I put our timer.
Okay. But yeah, going back to orchestras, I remember in 4th grade,
No, I mean
we.
like read what chat is saying.
Oh well, okay. I can't pull them on,
I
but
know.
okay. Uh, operas from the Met at a local theater. That sounds rocking. Like,
Well, Jessica used to go to their local movie theater for showings of operas.
yeah,
Awesome.
that rocks.
What's November 3rd? Hold on.
Uh,
I went to an orchestra with a friend and loved it. Oh, hold on. Google's orchestra is November 3rd. Who's coming to St. Louis? I've been to several concerts. The worst was Madonna. Womp womp. No.
my worst was Kesha. Kesha didn't put on a great show. She spat beer from the audience into the mouth of one of her dancers. And I was like, I don't think you needed to do all that, Kesha. You could just sing that, and that would be okay. Because you're very talented when you at that, and the spitting the beer didn't really help anyone.
RP's only ever been to country concerts.
I've
but
never been to a country concert.
I've been to that's the 3rd one I've been to is country concerts.
Yeah, my 2 were first concert I ever went to was Kesha and Macklemore, which is I think a very funny first concert. Kesha did not put on a great show. Macklemore actually like put on a pretty good
like
show.
he'd be good. He'd
Yeah.
do a good live performance.
And then the second one was Bad Wolves opened, and I missed almost their entire set, which I was bummed about because at the time I was a really big Bad Wolves fan. And then it was Breaking Benjamin and Five Finger Death Punch, which we left like halfway through Five Finger Death Punch, and then but we because like we were there for Breaking Benjamin, that's who we were there for, and so we saw all of them. And other than that, it's been like video game concert or Tony Bennett impersonator.
I cut out at all I heard was you missed most of Bad Wolves, and then I came back at Tony Bennett.
Yeah, they did a show together. It was Bad Wolves and Tony Bennett.
For low prices.
Yeah. Oh, RP, I have seen many a drunk redneck. The only club within like 20 miles of me, that's not entirely accurate, more like within like 15 miles of me, is a like country, not country club in the golf sense, but in the like it's a club but with a entirely like country vibe, and so it's all yeah, it's kinda and it's not a place I enjoy going.
Chase Adkins when Badonkadonk was big and short
Yeah.
country dude.
I grew up on all of this music, so like I'm very aware of the 90s country.
Def Leppard, Journey. Tom Petty is maybe the biggest other than Madonna. He was a good concert.
Nice.
So in the military, a base will have a unit sponsor a band put on a concert on the base. My unit was the sponsor for a Five Finger Death Punch concert while we were deployed, so my unit didn't get to actually see them. Made me so mad. Oh, I'm sorry. That sucked.
Like, so I'm saying this as someone that does enjoy Five Finger to an extent, especially like I like a lot of Five Finger songs.
Yeah.
They were the concert that I was just like, okay, I think I just don't like concerts.
It's possible.
Because like for them especially, like the crowd was so rowdy and like and I'm just like, all right, I think this is maybe just not for me.
I've only ever seen Celtic Thunder in concert, and they were really nice to see. I went to an Ozfest in the 1900s.
Went in 1907.
I know that's correct. I'm just like sitting here thinking of like an old timey.
Yeah, it's in black and white.
And Ozzy Osbourne, and like I mean he's got his whole vampire thing, so that's that's very Ozzy too.
Like, he's just full Nosferatu.
Queen was my first concert. Listening to Brian May jam on his acoustic guitar is still one of my favorite memories. Nice. It was 1999. It was right before the 2000s. That reminds me. So we watched Salem's Lot.
I did too. The new one?
I don't know.
Because one like just came out like a week ago.
It's the new one. Yeah, I don't. Maybe. I don't. I've only seen one. But what I was gonna say is I watched it right after I read Dracula, and if the adaptation of Salem's Lot is anything like the book, Stephen King took a lot from Dracula. Like there's some stuff that's just 1-to-1, and I'm like
just fully ripping it off.
I was like, bro, this is a Dracula fanfic. This isn't even like referencing an allegory anymore. This is even a plot beat.
Especially because the main character is such a self-insert. He literally went, what if Dracula came to my hometown and I was there? Things would play out a little differently. Like, all right, Steven.
That's what it was.
Whatever.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like watching it with Chris, and I was like, that one's neat. And I'm like, is that one Jonathan Harker? No, is that one Nina? And I was like, oh, where's the doctor? And he's like, I think this one character is the doctor. And I'm like, wait, who? He goes, the doctor. I'm like, oh, yes, that would make sense.
Yep.
The doctor was the doctor. But I was sitting there, I was trying to be like, figure out like what was different and stuff. And I'm like, who is Helsing? None of these people. The small child, he is Helsing.
The small child is the biggest badass in all of film.
He was my favorite.
He was
like,
cooking.
which one? Did
What?
you say Macaulay Culkin?
No, I said he was cooking.
Oh, he was. I was about to say I must have seen the new one then, because Macaulay Culkin was not in the one I saw. But no, the one I saw had I'm gonna have to look up which one I saw. I know the timer's on screen. Just ignore it.
I didn't recognize a single actor in the new one.
Salem's.
I also like. I enjoyed the new one to an extent, but I very much did not enjoy the lead actor.
I saw the new one because that is the Jonathan Harker that I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alfred Woodard as Dr. Cody. That she was. Yeah, so I definitely we saw the new one. I don't know, Chris and I, we were just like, I want to watch something spooky, and we're looking through the movies and stuff, and he's like, you want to watch Salem's Lot? And I'm like, sure. He goes, old one or new one? I'm like, I don't know anything, so I don't have a preference. But yeah, so like, have you read the book?
I've not read the book.
Also, didn't realize Salem's Lot was actually. I'm sitting here expecting something witchy.
Because Salem.
Lot. But no, Salem's Lot is short for Jerusalem's Lot.
Mm-hmm.
Which still doesn't necessarily scream vampire to me, but. Also, this year was my first time actually reading the Dracula book. And
I love the Dracula book.
I was surprised and delighted by how much of the Dracula story I knew, just because I've read so much on it and seen so many adaptations.
Yeah.
So.
I love the Dracula book.
Oh, it's such a good book. I highly recommend it. Like, one of the reasons I've always held off on reading it is because there's like I grew up on a lot of the Universal monster movies, and a lot of them are based on short stories or novels or stuff. And then I'll read it and I won't like the old writing style. And I was really afraid of not liking the older, because I love the black and white Bela Lugosi Dracula. Although it turns out Keanu Reeves' Dracula is actually the most faithful adaptation.
It is. I'm not huge on that movie just because of how long it is, but it is a faithful adaptation.
So, but yeah, so then I like read it, and I was like, this writing style is amazing.
Yeah, Bram Stoker kills it.
Eva went to see Disturbed or Godsmack or something. Ozzy played with Black Sabbath or played a Black Sabbath song. I didn't get to see. Wasn't he part of Black Sabbath?
Yeah, Ozzy was the singer
he was the lead singer until
of Black Sabbath, and then he went solo.
Yeah. Lainey Wilson did a concert here in North Carolina last month, and I was very surprised when I looked at tickets and saw the cheapest one. Oh yeah, God, concert tickets right now. I offered my daughter and son-in-law tickets to Jelly Roll in Knoxville later this month, but they were like, meh, concerts. Concerts are like a lot of work.
Yep.
I think I only enjoy going to because of the way Nashville's concert area is set up. We just sort of sit up in the high section, and you don't have to deal with a ton of people. I love that there are two versions of the original Dracula books. Are there? What are the two versions?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not familiar with that.
Dracula novel. Two sisters? No. With two? Let's see what Horror Lit Reddit says. They're a little confused by the sheer amount of editions. Unabridged, unannotated editions from 300 all the way up to 600 pages.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people recommend the Penguin English Library version. Two versions of the original Dracula. That's nuts. It's like there's a lot of versions of Dracula out there, from the parodic to the mysterious, and I'm like, that's
That's not what I asked you, Google.
not how that works. If I remember correctly, the original English translation of it was actually more of a fan fiction version, and eventually it was retranslated. But wasn't Bram Stoker?
I was gonna say, I think Bram Stoker's Irish, so it would have been in English. And are you thinking of Nosferatu, maybe? Because Nosferatu was a German filmmaker plagiarizing Dracula.
You did.
To make a movie.
He did.
I'm
looking it up just in case to see if maybe Bram.
Yeah, like
right part of it in
right
to be fancy, because like the way that Dracula is written is very mimetic in a way, because it's like a bunch of journal entries and diary entries, and there's like, and I love how like part of it is like this telegram sent to so and so unopened by sender and stuff, and there's even a part of the thing where it says that Mina is the one who organized all of it and put it together and stuff, so which is really cool. So I would not put it past him to have like
because I can't remember if it was, when it was initially released, if it was done as a novel or if it was done as a serial.
I'm pretty sure it was a serial.
I would thought so as well. So like maybe that's like the two versions, is like the serial version and then the put it together into a novel. Yeah, like Bella's saying, I think the original was printed in like a newspaper or like a magazine or something along those lines.
No, it was just in English, from what I can find. He did dedicate Dracula to somebody named Hollon, which just sounds like a vampire.
Oh, thank you, Tina. Published as a novel in the UK and a serial in the US. That makes sense.
Yeah. But it doesn't say anything about a language. Excuse me while I just read the entire biography of Bram Stoker here. Who is Irving? Why did he die? Why does he matter?
Who?
I remember seeing her for free at a private concert during. Who is her? I am assuming not Bram Stoker. Lainey Wilson. She got really popular. I went to an indie band concert recently and ended up in the balcony right beside the band. I felt like I was seeing an opera. At one point, the opening band singer spotted me and waved. Oh, that's awesome.
That rocks.
Yeah, then there was that. But it doesn't seem to have different versions writing wise. They just split up that's all I'm finding too. Thank you for backing up my thingy. I went to Cahokia Mounds. I hope that's how that was said. To Cahokia Mounds today for Indigenous Peoples Day, attempting to edit a little tiki talk from that adventure now. Ooh. I managed a band for a short 6 months once. Evilor. Ooh. It's good to know. Maybe I'm mixing up the Icelandic version. It was a while that I learned.
Yeah, I was also like, I'm like trying to go back to like my college literature course and be like, okay, what was the publishing history of Dracula? What was going on?
We always like trivia here. And now, like, I know that the serialized version was for the US, not the, because
Yeah.
I thought the serial was published for the UK and then it became a novel. So
Yeah,
my
I also thought it was
yeah.
switched. I thought UK was serial, US was novel.
So that's really fun to know. Matt and I are just huge Dracula nerds, so we were like,
Yeah.
this thing that we didn't know. Hold up,
Yeah, we're like, hold on, let me pull up my computer here.
we're like, hold on, we have to. Oh. But I'm probably gonna try to read some more of his stuff because he wrote things other than which
But did he?
I feel like I knew, but
I couldn't tell you a single thing he wrote other than Dracula.
something called the Primrose Path, which sounds really interesting. Hold on, the Primrose Path, the Chain of Destiny, the Snake's Pass, the Fate of Fenella, the Water's Maw, the Shoulder of Shasta. I really enjoy that name. And then Dracula. And then Miss Betty, The Mystery of the Sea, The Jewel of Seven Stars, which was released in 1903 and then revised in 1912. Then there's The Man, issued also as The Gates of Life. Then Lady Athlin, The Lady of the Shroud, The Lair of the White Worm. And so
Oh.
Seven Golden Buttons was written in 1891, much material reused in Miss Betty, posthumously published in 2015. Bruh, you posthumously published this thing 150 some plus years after his thing. So he has a short story collection called Dracula's Guest and Other Weird Stories.
Oh, that might be a fun read.
Like, just all of his titles are very much things that I'm like, I'm intrigued. Especially by the shoulder of Shasta. Why is Shasta's shoulder so important? The video I watched was pretty confusing. That's right. Like I said, I greatly enjoy just learning things and all of that. This was not this was not a rabbit hole I disliked going down.
No.
I didn't see anything about the Icelandic version being different other than being translated. Is that what you meant?
Sam, in your background, you had a cat moving your curtain
Not a
behind
cat.
you. Oh,
It's a dog.
I saw fur.
You're fine.
But yeah.
I said that so ominously though.
It's okay. It's not a cat. But yeah, like we're talking about Dracula, and then your curtain starts moving behind you. At first, on its own accord, I'm just like, Sam.
Now you can't sniff over there.
Fully was ready for a vampire to jump out.
No, it's my hell dog, my hellhound.
Speaking of spooky happenings, I was watching The Witch,
Hold
which
on.
is
Do we want to do one more sprint, or do we just want to talk more about spooky things?
I am happy to do either.
Okay, we're just gonna talk about spooky things. I'll sprint more later.
So I was watching The Witch, which I highly recommend to anyone and everyone. I absolutely adore that movie. But I was watching it alone, which I'd actually never done before. Every time I had watched The Witch, I'd watched it with people. But I was watching The Witch alone at night, and I had all my lights off except for like one kitchen light to get some atmosphere going. And like during like a big like scary or like tense scene in the movie, my trash can, it's one of those where like it has a lid that like swings. My trash can lid just starts swinging on its own accord. And I look over and like there's just nothing there, and my trash can is just, and I'm just like, well,
I
and
looked like I could be the doorman for Dracula right now and just be like, oh yes, the trash can just does that. So
Yeah, yes. But yeah, going all the way back to Salem's Lot, the movie that we watched separately.
Arguably as much of a Dracula ripoff as
Right.
is.
Is it just me, or did the main actor just thumbs down to that guy?
I did not like him much. No.
I'm like, bro, you are such a loser. Like, it was like they took like the blandest guy, and we're like,
You know
he is
what
our lead.
mildly upset me too is they bring him in, right? Which I will say I don't know that I would call them all self-inserts, but Stephen King does like to put in writer
Yeah.
like adult writers who all look alike as like his archetypical main character, which I'm like, if that's kind of what he had fun writing, whether or not it's a self-insert, it's whatever. But he comes in looking for this mystery or something surrounding his family. And unless I missed it, that is
Never resolved.
I'm waiting for his family to be connected to Dracula somehow. I'm waiting. I'm like, were they vampire hunters? I am desperately trying to figure out what family's accident would have to do with anything, and it didn't. It just did not exist.
So if Stephen King has one hater, I'm him. I am absolutely a Stephen King hater. But yeah, that's so funny that they're just that he's just like, all right, I needed an excuse for this guy to be in his hometown. Okay, I'll have this elaborate backstory tragedy with him with his parents, and he's here to solve that mystery. Is it gonna come up again? No, I just needed that to get him here. It's like, bro, just have him be home for Christmas or something, dude. Like, you didn't need to do all that. Sam, I think you might be frozen again. Oh no. Are you back?
I think so.
There we go.
Okay. But yes, we
Just
never found out. No
never
connection.
found out.
I'm like the most original piece of
Seems you have unfortunately frozen once more. Oh, now I'm even.
hello.
That was I was like trying to find.
Bijou, get
Huh?
away from there.
Yeah. Speaking of fun little horror movies, have you seen Trick or Treat?
I'm trying to get you in my.
Yeah.
Are we good now?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
I don't think I can be heard.
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right, I can hear you now.
Perfect. Have you seen Trick or Treat?
I have not.
That's a recommend right there. That's a really fun little like semi spooky but not really Halloween movie. It reminds me of like Goosebumps.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, it's like an
Also,
R-rated Goosebumps.
I have heard this about the Icelandic version. I actually read about that when I was researching vampires for the Vampire Let's Talk Jess and I did a couple years ago, because I was like trying to research the origin of a specific term, which Bram Stoker doesn't actually use in his novel, but whoever translated it did. Although I don't know for sure if it was the Icelandic version or a different version, but I have heard this. Um, Kelly's always up for listening to us talk spooky. Tina looked into it further. Apparently, they translated an earlier draft of Dracula too.
Oh,
But yes, this is part of why when like I have friends and stuff who they're like, oh, I thought of this plot and these characters and stuff, and then I realized that it's kind of similar to this other thing, and I'm like, I mean, if we strip away absolutely all of the components, yeah, but I don't see it as a big problem,
yeah.
because as long as it's original enough to you, it's fine. That's like Salem's Lot is fine. He changed up a lot of it.
Right, like we're making fun of it for being a Dracula ripoff, but like it is its own story.
It's Dracula. It's so inspired by Dracula. Like,
Yeah,
it's wild. So
that's why like yeah, like in a similar vein where it's like you hear like uninspired as like a critique of a work because it's just like, oh, this is just like you just ripped off this whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's fair criticism, everything, but it's not like it like r- removes it from being its own thing.
mm-hmm. Just like it's as long as it's entertaining and it's not like a one to like the entire thing isn't one to one, then you can have a really good time.
Right. Have you seen The Witch?
Um, Dante's Inferno. I forgot the name of it for a second. Am I back? Did you catch
Yeah,
what I said?
I just heard Dante's Inferno.
Oh, I
Wait,
said
wait.
one of the most popular and critically acclaimed fan fictions of all time is
Oh,
Dante's Inferno.
yes.
Fan fiction of the Bible.
Yeah, Bible fanfic, Dante's Inferno.
It's like a mix between it's a crossover fan fiction, in my opinion, of Dante's Inferno and Eurydice in I forgot the other person's name. The Greek myth about the guy who goes to the underworld to get his wife back, and he's not allowed to look behind him.
Yeah.
Like if you mix that story with the Bible, you get
Dante's Inferno.
Tina realized recently that my whip, A False Oracle, has some very similar things to Code Geass, and I'm not mad about it. Iron Widow by Jiran Zhao which I love Jiran and Iron Widow, but Jiran straight up said that the reason they wrote Iron Widow was because they watched Darling in the Franxx, and they were really, really intrigued by the pilot system, but absolutely hated the ending. And so they were like, I'm gonna write my own. And the creator of Darling in the Franxx has read Iron Widow and like tweeted that he loves it, that he thinks it's really cool, and he thinks it's cool that it was inspired by Darling in the Franxx. And I'm like, yes, that's what we need more of.
Right.
For people to just be like, you know what? Fair.
Yeah.
Orpheus and
Eurydice.
Yeah. Orpheus and Eurydice. Okay.
Yeah.
I have the right name, wrong pronunciation.
Speaking of horror movies, does anyone have any fun horror movie recommendations?
Have you seen Hocus Pocus?
I have seen Hocus Pocus. Very fun movie.
Hocus Pocus 2.
I've not seen the sequel, actually.
I think Hocus Pocus 2 is a phenomenal sequel in that it is a generational sequel. It's not trying to be the original,
Right.
and it's not super disconnected from the original either. And it also like finishes off the story of the witches in a really good way.
Nice.
So I definitely recommend Hocus Pocus 2 for people who like Hocus Pocus 1.
Yeah. No, I do enjoy Hocus Pocus. I saw Hocus Pocus for the first time last year. Well, okay, that's not true. I saw it as a young child and didn't remember like any of it,
That's fair.
and then watched it again as an adult.
I watch it every year on Halloween.
Nice.
So okay. I should have said K. Yurdike, not
Year decay.
Yurdica. Okay, so Yurdike. Year decay, I'm decay, we all decay. I don't watch horror movies, but I think you should watch the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. But it's
I've heard it's borderline unwatchable with how bad it is.
I did not pull a Jiran Zhao and do it intentionally, but I'm just good at unconsciously referencing stuff I like. Well, see, that's the thing with media and creating our own stuff, which is it's a large part of why when you want to write in a genre, they say to read a lot of your genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about like active research, it's also like you subconsciously take in all of your media and it's going to influence like your work and in what you create and stuff. And there's a
Exactly.
lot of times where we make connections or we pull from things that on a top level we might have forgotten about.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, I like to write my like vampire fiction a very specific way. And when I go back and I've been rereading like vampire stuff I read when I was a kid, which I have not read in like 20 years, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
things
Like,
make sense.
it's a very like osmosis
Yeah.
process.
This is one reason like I've actively started telling people, I'm like, yeah, no, read stuff that you read when you were a kid. Like do it. You will
Yeah.
learn things about
Yeah, that happened to me like with my whip. Is like I revisited actually it was like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I was just like, oh, oh,
It's like, wait a minute.
that was I was inspired by that. I haven't watched this in forever, but my subconscious did, I suppose.
Like we internalize shit. We
Yeah,
can.
exactly. It's like I internalized this.
It's also why you gotta be like careful though, because if you really like a genre, then you start doing things in that genre that you're like, am I okay with that though?
Right.
Which I am. Also, this is random, and I've done this before, but I like to fidget with things, and this is a brush with a small brush. Then it breaks apart, and there's another brush.
Yo, that's awesome.
And there's another brush. There's so many little brushes.
That's like you were to take the trope of like drop your weapons, and then they're like, I said all your weapons, and then they do one, but you're just doing it with brushes.
Put away your brush. Like I know about this one. I didn't know there were like 3 more. It's wild. Tina said, I've been actively avoiding a certain book that came out, which has a very similar plot to AFO, but Aztec. And I was like, oh no, I have to wait until the outline is done or I will absorb this into, hey, that's another thing. That's also why it's advised to not read fan fiction of your work until your work is complete, because you may accidentally plagiarize the fan fiction writers and they can sue you. So I watched someone react to Full Metal and I realized how terrible some of the actions done in it are. Completely wiped from my brain how bad the villains really are. Oh, the villains in Full Metal are terrible. So it's due to anime and video games, I have internalized that desert people should be redheaded. I'm like, I'll be designing a desert civilization, and I'm like, primary hair color, red.
Red.
Like, wait a second. It's a really common thing. And it's a really big trope. And it's like, I can see why though. The color palette looks really good together.
True.
That's another thing when I'm designing fantasy races and fantasy civilizations. I stop caring about like real world references and I just go, what hair colors would look nice?
What would
these
look good here? Purely aesthetic reasons.
It's my fantasy world, and that's
Yeah.
how it should go. Unless I'm writing like paranormal or supernatural fiction, then I'm like, I have to care about the real world.
Right.
To an extent, these priestesses of the moon are still going to have blue hair tones. Because I can.
Because you can.
Yeah, I had to be careful with like some of the Zelda influence though, because they always make the desert people bad guys.
Mm.
And I'm like, I can't have all my villains be like dark-skinned redheads. That's Ganondorf. You gotta always plan your stuff with fan artists in mind. Now, the fan artists can do what they want. They're gonna do what they want regardless of what I write in my book.
Right.
I've seen some things. I've seen some things that made me question my memories of what I was reading, and then I'll go back and find the pieces.
Yeah, like, did I? No.
I know. Like, I like, oh, have you guys seen, we got to wrap up soon, but have you guys seen the current discussion and stuff around commissioned versus AI, like, character art? Because, like, I did my contour so much darker here, so now it just looks like I'm missing part of my cheek, but this cheek is still fleshed out. Sorry, I got mildly distracted by my own facial structure. But it's a lot of like writers and stuff have been discussing that sorry, Tina, I think at least how I took what Bella said was you have to keep the people who are going to draw fan art of your characters in mind when you're designing them, so that you can make sure that like the color palettes and the characters are aesthetically good looking.
Yeah.
Like look good together. We all know my brain died earlier, so multiple times. But yeah, the conversations that I started seeing around, especially on threads. I read more threads than I want to because threads drop down is really annoying and I can't just swipe away from it if it just clicks on it and takes me there all the time. But then I'm like, oh, these are interesting to read. I play into their hand. But yeah, so all writers and such, they're like, they have very specific images and looks and stuff that they want for their characters in mind, and they'll, use AI and stuff to kind of get some just inspo art and some from it, which conceptually I think that's fine if you're not using it for marketing and you're just using it for an info board. Unfortunately, because of execution, and I have yet to hear of an actual like AI art generator that's wholly above board.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like conceptually I agree with this. Unfortunately, I would not be able to point to a resource that is above board and not just stealing artwork at the moment, though. But the main point is that they can use the AI generators to get really close images of their characters and stuff, and then people will want to commission character art, but then the character art that they get doesn't look the way they want, or it doesn't look a lot like basically the AI generated art gets a lot closer to what they want for their characters than the commission art does. And within like the agreement or the commission prices and whatnot, they are not able to do like a lot of adjustments and stuff. And so that's kind of creating this big discussion around like, well, if I'm paying money and I'm not getting the product that I want, then like the AI generator is like cheaper or free and stuff. Is like, so what do you want me to do? And I'm like,
Right.
oh, that is very questionable. So,
Yeah.
which I will say that I have not had those experiences with commission artists. Generally, when I commission an artist, they do like I give them all the details they want. I'll look up certain reference pictures and stuff, and they will generally we discuss that I'm kind of picky, and so I'm gonna maybe want some readjustment. So I'd like to see it in like the sketching and the line art phase,
Sure.
so that big changes aren't as difficult to do.
Hmm.
And so the commission artists that I've worked with have always been like really good about that. I, however, also have aphantasia, so I don't get mental imagery. So there's nothing to
Hmm.
really match up in here.
Right.
So
Yeah,
in
you're just like,
that
looks
aspect,
good to me.
I'm like, I'd like it a little more this, but we're not really like matching to a pre-existing thing in my head. We're just
Mhm.
making it look the way that I want it to look, right?
Right.
So it's like it is an interesting conversation, especially because like the entire reason I learned any art skills at all was because I would read a novel and they'd be like, and her like golden hair flew in the wind. And I'd look at the cover and they'd have like the darkest brown hair that's like almost black. And I'm like,
Whose then?
who is this? And that like it's super common because a lot of times what publishers back in the day did was they would just have like photo shoots for certain genres and stuff, and then assign those covers to manuscripts without actually reading what's in the manuscript. And there's actually like I've read, what was Robert Jordan, I think, and one of the artists who did like the cover for one of his books are on like terrible terms because Robert basically ripped the cover art apart. And the cover artist was basically like, I was given 3 lines of text.
Yeah, like, sorry.
Like, this is what I was told. So then it's this really, for me, it's an interesting conversation from like
Sure.
all sides of it. And I'm like, I am really curious as to where this is going to go because
Hmm.
looking at also for transparency, I used to do commissions and stuff. So like I've been both on the customer and on the art side of it.
Right.
I actually, my poor children have such guilt right now because they went through my old crate of art. And I'm not saying I was ever an amazing, amazing artist, but I actually had a really nice art style that I developed. And my kids started looking through my stuff and they're like, Mom, you can actually draw well. I'm like, yeah, I know. They're like, well, why'd you stop? And I was like, Michael tried to eat my paper. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, drawing was just too hard with toddlers.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all would try to eat my sketchbook, and like drawing for me in general is really difficult. Like I do not have any natural talent for this at all. I
Hmm.
worked very hard. And so I was like, nope. Like
Yeah.
I did not have patience. And I was like, I will just pay people. But yeah, so it's yeah, one of
Yeah.
those things
I have
where
no ability to draw whatsoever.
but yeah, it's like it's one of those things where if you want good quality art and flexibility to control what that you are going to have to pay artists a pretty penny.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
but like for people who are on a budget and stuff, and I see where this new frustration comes from when it's like, well, I only have so much money and stuff, and now here's this resource that's a lot more financially, it's just I see it. I see the struggle.
Yeah.
I was making a joke on planning with aesthetics in mind, i.e. these colors go great together. I see. I feel like you might risk avoiding dark hair plus eyes in favor of fan service, though, so as long as you're aware that it would be fine to do so seriously. Dark hair plus dark eyes, I mean. And generally not include people of color, to which I would side eye. I'm unsure what this is in reference to specifically, as we were talking about designing civilizations and people in general. And I'm the one who brought up like using certain complexions and colors and stuff, especially like because of the dark skinned redheads of anime and video games.
Mhm.
So Bella was just fun banter with me. And I know all these things to be careful about. That sound like the person needs to either reset their expectations of what an artist can do and reassess what info they've given the artist, or need to pay extra for more revisions. See, this is the thing. Without context of the entire thing, I can't say whether it's that person or the artist, because if a writer is giving an artist a lot of like references and the artist says that they can do it, then those are the expectations that have been set. And if they already have like AI pictures and they're like, this is my picture reference, then like, you see what I mean? It's like, it's tricky without knowing the exact details of each situation. Then
Sure.
I hesitate to take either side.
Yeah, like it's hard to make blanket statements.
Yeah. I can't draw in my room because Boo will chew ribbons off my sketch pen. No, Boo, not the ribbons. Silly Boo. Yeah, it's hard to do things that require hand skills when
Mhm.
you have small things that like your hands, and to be involved with your hands and everything.
Yeah, I don't have a steady hand at all. So like in no way can I.
This has all been a conversation to lead up to the dramatic reveal that I've actually been a comic artist and animator for the past decade. And I will be taking commissions next week. No, I'm kidding. Although, oh shit, I did, for anybody who's still here, my newsletter will be going out tomorrow. I got it fixed. So
Hey.
please make sure that novelist at samanthaalnasset.com is not blocked. Oh, I meant people of color part in reference to the idea of writing descriptions with fan service in mind, because I said you could probably do it seriously, but wanted to point out the
Gotcha.
conditions to that, not in reference to the Zelda part of the convo. Well, it is actually a problematic thing in the Legend of Zelda that like a lot of people of color have actually spoken about, because the only people of color in Zelda are the Gerudos, and the Gerudos themselves, they're desert women, and they've only been portrayed as thieves and pirates until I think Breath of the Wild. So I wouldn't have blamed you if it was in part to that, but that was also like one of the things where I was like, that's why we got to be careful, because I didn't realize that was actually an influence for me. Which the connection wasn't, for me, wasn't necessarily like that, all dark skin. It was just when I designed a specific culture for one of my stories, they were dark skinned redheads from the desert, and I was like, oh no, my villain comes from there. And I
Yeah.
was like the civilization itself was fine, but I was like, I need another villain from somewhere else as well. So I don't know Zelda. I have no skin in that game. I know. I was just using a, call, like, I don't want to say calling myself out, because I don't, using a personal example to be like, I too suffer from this thing that we
Right.
are talking about. Sam, you didn't say anything. How dare I? What? I didn't say anything about what?
The newsletter? That was around the time the comment.
Oh, look, my newsletter's going out tomorrow, and I did say something in my server. I said, it's fixed now. So, so if you, I did say something somewhere. Okay, finish that TikToky. Oh yeah, I'm not slow. You're slow. That's fair. Oh,
Oh.
Tina, it is my deepest held secret. I hold it as deep as the secret that I also own Sam's Club.
I love the implication that, because canonically you are immortal and an ancient deity, and that you are shouting to the masses, but that on the side you do animation and comic art. You're like, no one can know.
Nobody can know.
It's a deep secret.
Bram Stoker was a friend of mine. We were neighbors. Okay, I didn't want to read his shit because he mowed my begonias. Okay, there's just one time. But have you been to a white party? Probably not. Let me double check
What is that?
before I can make a joke about it. Sean Combs' lavish white parties marked the peak of his cultural influence.
Oh, did he?
No, I has not. Nor shall I ever. Why do I want to write fan fiction of Sam's? I would love fan fiction of my immortal life.
Yeah.
I have so many incarnations. There's so much to work on, and I would take none of it personally. Oh, you. This is the last story I will share, and then we shall away. My oldest, right? I've already fucked up today and said his name. Normally I try to keep the children's names off, but here's the thing. So we're watching Lost Boys, right? My oldest and my youngest are watching Lost Boys. In Lost Boys, the oldest name is Michael. And so my youngest turns to her older brother and she's like, Michael, is that you? And my son goes, yeah, see, here's the thing that you didn't know about me. He's like, I am actually every Michael that has ever existed. I am all of the incarnations of Michael. Michael Jackson, Michael Owens. He's like, that Michael. And I'm like, Michael Jackson? He's like, yeah, I was Michael Jackson. And I was like, well, where's all your money? And he's like, well, here's the thing. I just want to live life as a normal kid. And I'm like, if there was ever any doubt in all of the universes that child came from me,
right,
it has been erased in this moment.
Right.
So it just came out of left field too. He had, I don't know if he had it ready or if he was just. I also, oh no, was it Michael Owens or Michael Austin? Hold on, I have to ask the child. Because whatever Michael he said, I don't actually know who they are. I just know that the name is real. But yeah, so just like I don't actually have access to the Sam's Club money or anything like that.
Sam's Club money.
He also doesn't have access to any other money. He is definitely. I have summoned him, so we just must wait, and then we can ask him which Michael it is. But yes, I never felt more related to my child at that moment. I hear him coming.
Right.
Hey, when you were saying that you're every Michael ever, you list Michael Jackson, and then who's the second one? You forgot?
Yeah.
Was it like Michael Owens or Michael Austin or?
Yeah.
Yeah? You're just saying that because they're Michaels, aren't you?
Probably.
You may go now.
Is that all you needed me for?
Yes. What, did you want to say hi to the people? He's gonna be a teenager.
Yeah.
Woo! Happy almost birthday.
This is how tall he is.
So tall.
It doesn't take much to be as tall as me, but
I remember when I passed my mom in height.
they don't let me live it down that they're catching up.
Yep.
All right, but we should head out now. As much fun as this is.
Yeah, I gotta pass away to sleep.
All right, it says it's gonna do the outro for me automatically, so I guess we'll see if it does.
Oh.
Stay in the studio until the outro video finishes playing, or the broadcast may not end properly. It's good to know. I'm glad they put that in a big yellow box. Tina. We only have to worry if he catches up to Matt.
Yeah.
All right, but thank you everybody for coming out. Next week is me and Laura. And then the week after that is me and Tina. Also, remember, my newsletter is going out tomorrow morning, and it has the announcement that I wanted to make in May, but could not. So you'll finally get that announcement. All right, I will see you all later. Bye.